Good evening, everyone. We are back to review Disney Star Wars Skeleton Crew. I always have to keep putting Disney at the very beginning because this is very Disney, this finale today, which I'm sure we'll go into. This is the season finale. This is the big climactic ending episode, episode 8 of Skeleton Crew, which we now have viewership figures for, at least the premiere episode. So I can read this. This is from gamerant.com, but you can find this all across the internet. According to the Nielsen's ratings from December 2nd to the 8th, streaming data, Skeleton Crew premiered with the lowest viewership of any Star Wars series in its first week. And the 2-episode premiere scored less than 382 million minutes watched. This is roughly 20% lower than the ratings for Star Wars Acolyte premiere week. It's pretty low. We're seeing that sort of diminishing returns. I mean, Acolyte.
Wait a second. Repeat those numbers.
382 million minutes watched on the 2-episode premiere.
Compared to Acolyte's 2-episode premiere, which was...
So Skeleton Crew debuted 20% lower than Acolyte.
That's better than Acolyte did. The episodes are shorter.
What do you mean?
Well, the minutes watched would be shorter. The episodes are like 20 or like 40 minutes or like 30 minutes.
There were 3 episodes of Acolyte released initially, weren't they, in the premiere? If I'm right,
mean,
I can't remember. They did, didn't they?
Yeah, this kind of goes to show that. Wait a sec. Okay, this is new information to me. Wait, no, this might be good for the show, because while the number itself is shorter, I thought it was. You see, when you first described this to me, I thought it was a viewership. It was people who watched. If it's minutes watched of a shorter show, then yeah, it's gonna be shorter. The fact that it's only 20% shorter is actually a little surprising to me.
It says it's a record low for Disney Star Wars in terms of their Disney Plus shows. I'm trying to see if there's any more information on it. I think they've only just released those ones.
I'm just saying, if you compare it to the runtime of the episode, I think Acolyte did worse.
Probably. Well, I mean, the Acolyte got swiftly cancelled, didn't it? And I can't... How this ends, I don't see there being a massive draw for season 2. And just judging from what we've seen, the viewership figures aren't there to support it. You kind of mentioned
this episode needed one more scene.
Well, it needed a Sith Lord like with a lightsaber saying, "I'm gonna get you" in season 2, and then it was gonna end.
No, I'm just saying, like this whole episode, it just kind of ends like the old Universal monster movies, where it's just like, okay, it's over now.
Yeah, it's just really anticlimactic.
It just needed one more scene.
Yeah,
and it was a scene I was worried they were actually about to do.
Mm-hmm. There just aren't many sort of threads that lead anywhere. Well, I was going to ask you this, and maybe we should sort of finish with this question after we've had our discussion of the episode itself. What was the point of this show? What was this story? Who was this story made for? What was the story leading to? What did our characters learn or discover about themselves? Did they really go on any kind of character arc? It just felt like a whole hunk of vacuous nothing by the end of this episode today. Because we were actually debating in the last episode about how long we thought this finale was going to be, minutes-wise, because we thought there's still a lot of intrigue about Atatin being this mysterious shrouded planet. Why is it shrouded? Why do its inhabitants not know anything about the greater galaxy? What are the ramifications of that if they learn that stuff? There's sort of revelations about Jod. How did he get his powers? And we get like a throwaway sentence in this. We get a little bit of an anecdote, I suppose. But yeah, it just felt like we didn't answer any of that. And I don't see it leading into a season 2 to reveal any more about those mysteries.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of the questions it leaves open are pretty much like answerable with other content if answered at all.
I think the best comment I saw... Yeah, sorry, go on, sir.
No, I'm just like we didn't see, we never saw the captain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we know that so we know it's true. The captain died. That, like, in the crash, they didn't do in memory override to Smee like we thought they were setting up.
Hmm.
Um, Speaking of Smee, I like how they brought him back. That was good
I
because he
have a
wasn't
note on that.
attached to any of like he wasn't attached to any of the servos or anything. He was just like, she just got some new wires and like probably like just twisted the old ones together.
And then he's just like a. I feel like I've seen that image before. Am I thinking of like a headless knight or so? What am I thinking of? Like where they're just carrying their head at the side of them. I was going to say nearly headless Nick, but that's
No, it's not
defeats the
nearly
point of
headless.
it.
I know
But
what you're talking. I
yeah,
can see like a suit of animated armor doing it.
yeah,
Wait, does that
yeah.
happen in Scooby Doo too?
Yeah, it might be that, or it might be Beauty and the Beast or something in the Enchanted Castle where one of them's. I've seen that
Maybe
before. It could be Scooby Doo too. Monsters Unleashed.
Monsters Unleashed. Jinx.
Mystery Incorporated.
That should have been the first one. Literally, if you
Yes.
have both of
Yeah.
them on DVD or Blu-ray, just take them out and put them in opposite boxes, and you're good.
Yeah, because the team break up at the beginning of the second movie and then get back together.
Exactly.
Yeah, that checks out. So this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the two Scooby Doo movies,
Holy
apparently.
shit, that was fast.
Oh, do we have to talk about
Wow,
Skeleton Crew?
that was fast.
Oh, Skeleton Crew. Here we go. Yeah, right. Okay, so episode 8, The Real Good
Fuck
Guys.
me, that was quick.
Fuck you. I saw like The Real Good Guys, and I was what's is it called? The Nice
There's no
Guys?
double meaning here.
That comedy, Aim
Oh,
for the Bushes.
with
The other
with
guys. That's it. Yeah,
oh, I thought you were talking about Nice Guys with
that's
Ryan Gosling
Russell
and
Crowe, isn't it?
Russell Crowe.
Yeah,
That's a good movie.
I've only seen that once. Yeah, that was kind of like an ode to Lethal Weapon or something, wasn't it? That
I've seen it
movie.
twice.
Mhm. We've got Carl says, "Evening, guys. Overall, I enjoyed the series, but the finale felt a bit meh."
Yeah, it was
Well,
underwhelming.
so we get our previously on, and we see the owl lady. Kim. Kim was her name. Was the name Kim? Nim something. I can't remember. And she mentions about, should you need my help, call me and I will send in the X-Wings. And I immediately, this was my first note, and it was on the previously on. I said, fully expecting this to be a shooty pew pew finale. And it turns out that's precisely what we got.
Yeah, no shit.
Continuing on from what my prediction was last week, I believe, and this seems like it's a running thing now. It shouldn't be a surprise. We had our big dramatic finale, our cliffhanger shot last time, didn't we? Which you quite rightly said was reminiscent of Revenge of the Sith. Master Skywalker.
I was going to ask if you noticed that
I did.
in the
I did.
previous.
They're off to the side, like
Come on, buddy.
panicked looks on their face.
You're
Yeah.
good.
And he was like, he's gonna fuck him up. He's like, I can carve him up real good. And he does the lightsaber, ignites the lightsaber. And I always say, every time a TV episode ends on a big cliffhanger like that, the payoff in the next episode is going to be massively anticlimactic and not follow on in any way, shape, or form in any kind of dramatic fashion. And it turns out I was exactly right.
Hang on, save one. And that was the Acolyte.
Well, they just cut a fucking episode in half there, didn't they? Let's be honest.
Day/.
Yes. So he ignited his lightsaber to gesticulate and to emphasize a point, and then he just extinguishes it again.
No, it was just he ignited his lightsaber to call back to that shot from Revenge of the Sith.
Yes. Yeah.
There was no other reason. Although I guess maybe it was to show. We can write it off as it was to show them that he's a Jedi and with the Republic.
So looking back on this whole series, the one thing that Jod did with this, he does two things. He takes out HAL 9000, not the editor, the character from 2001: A Space Odyssey, and he cuts the head off Smee. And Smee is, no one's ever really gone. Smee comes back. So he does
Oh
fuck
yeah, no,
all
I
with
saw
his
that coming.
lightsaber. He does fuck all with his lightsaber. Combat wise, he's nothing. Like he's sort of like trained by a Jedi. He's force sensitive.
Well, he said it himself. He said it himself. He didn't want to hurt anyone.
He's absolutely Saturday morning villain all the way through this, and it infuriated the fuck out of me. But yeah, so he extinguishes his
You see,
lightsaber.
you and I have a different. You and I have different terms for the same definition.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
call it. I think of it more as an early Clone Wars villain, like
Well, I was
seasons
gonna
1 and 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's a really good way to portray it. And actually, I saw a comment. I can't remember which YouTube video it was on. Someone described this whole series as like a 3-episode filler arc from the Clone Wars, and I totally agree with that.
No. That wasn't a simile. That was a direct comparison.
Yes. Yeah.
Like there is a 3 episode story arc from the Clone Wars that is
Oh, it does have pirates, right?
younglings
Yeah.
kidnapped by pirates. It's Hondo,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
But
they
him
steal their lightsaber crystals.
just needed some Jogan fruit, didn't it? And that would have its journey towards the Clone Wars would have been complete. But yeah, he just extinguished his lightsaber right from the off, and I thought, oh god, this is a you and I will be working together very closely Darth Maul moment. I don't know why I gave him Palpatine's voice. He doesn't sound like that.
Like, no, he's very true. Keep your teeth closed and speak through your cheeks. Yes, Kira, we will be speaking like this from now on. And if you have a problem with that, you can just cancel the sequel.
And then for
Oh.
some reason, the hologram glows red when he does his lightsaber.
No. The lightsabers, the lightsaber, the lightsabers change the colors of holograms.
Do they? How?
Syndralic.
Is that right? Huh.
We figured out how I can present images last time.
We
Remember?
did. Let's put it to the test. While you're doing that, I'm going to bring up two of Bath
Cinder-
Time's comments right here. Bath Time says, "Is this not finished yet? I saw today only you two were watching it or something." Yeah, this is the finale, so it's over. It's done. Bath Time says, "I'm a huge fan of having a throne with a leopard skin thrown on it. It's that chair reversed for only." Hang on. I'm a huge fan of having a throne with a leopard skin thrown on it. It's that chair reserved, I'm guessing, for only the best TV shows.
Oh, you
What?
talking about the one with the pillow?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought I was looking at my room. I was like, what are you talking about? I've only just noticed that. Yeah, what poor
That's just
defenseless leopard cub did you kill to get that throw?
Look, it was sick with the flu. It wasn't gonna make it much longer anyway. So I just das Boot.
I mean, if a leopard got chickenpox or something, you wouldn't really be able to tell, would you? Like, it's just
Move on.
yes. Move along, move along. Okay, and you've paired it with a tankard. Do you have a leopard print tankard as well?
No, I'm just drinking out of a tankard.
Oh, because he hated the Lion
Technically,
King
it is not a
remake.
tankard because a tankard would have a lid.
Oh,
Or
so
no,
that
is that a Stein?
is that a tumbler? No, that's a tumbler, isn't it? What's
I think it's just I think the word is mug.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
So
pretty disappointing.
have you
Let
found
me
out how
just.
to share this fucking photo yet?
Oh, sorry. I was getting the photo, but every one that I get is it's not like a downloadable format.
Yeah, I hate that shit. Google's doing that all the time now.
Here's a okay. Here, this is a okay. That's a JPEG. It's a
You're all glad you tuned in. We're waiting on a JPEG. We can't
Sorry,
move on.
guys.
It's imperative that we see this.
It's you know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this.
Syndralig.
Okay.
Syndralig changing
Congratulations to
holograms.
whoever's share screen one particular window.
Oh, we've gone all
This one.
roboticized. There we go. That's better.
Oh, oh.
Bath Time says, "What's the overall rating for this series?" Then, I think it's just a huge waste of time. I don't know what this is even made for. Okay, add stage.
It happened.
Is that an
Yeah,
actual
it's
screenshot from the movie?
well, half of it's 2 screenshots from the movie cut in half because of the bloody
And that hasn't been
you know
edited.
what? If I'm sharing my like okay, here's the actual one since I don't need to. Nope, I can. Come on, give me the big. Oh, you suck.
Dude, you keep going like really roboticized.
You keep going really roboticized.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Okay, dude, you figured it out. Let's get this JPEG going. We've got shit to talk about. We've got some exciting, thrilling skeleton crew shit. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, that's the actual shot from the movie.
Yes, you can see here's the blue saber, here's the green saber.
Huh. Well, either way, whether Syndrolic does it or whether Darth Maul does it, that makes no fucking sense and is really dumb. It should be blue. That's the hologram. That's how it projects.
Can't you see the pink of Princess Leia's cheeks in the hologram? Your fucking face.
Look at your fucking face. Right, moving on. Jod asks Fern to meet the supervisor. He turns everyone away. He comes up with some like elaborate. He tells them all to go back to the ship. Doesn't he? To get out of his sight. But Fern, no, Fern must learn a lesson. Oh, she gives him sass. That's right, doesn't she? He pretends to be
No,
like
he
an
can just
emissary.
no. He can just tell that she's planning something because she's apparently the smart one.
Well, no, like he says,
We are told she is the smart one.
he's like, I'm an emissary, and I think he mentions these kids have been like
Trouble.
a nightmare trouble, and then she goes, yes, like we have been all about trouble, haven't we? We have been troublesome, and she kind of directs like he's a villain, and he's like, huh. You know what? Actually, everyone else, all of you out, everybody out. Not you, number 2. Not you, Fern. And he's like, not you, Fern. You're coming with me. You're gonna learn a lesson. What does he say? I will take special care. That's a direct quote. I will take special care of both of you. That's Fern and her mother. I'm like, why are you bringing these two? You don't need to make a point. They're clearly going to fuck up your plan somehow. I guess, but like he doesn't hold them to ransom. He doesn't do anything with hostages in this situation. He just brings them along because we've got to bring Fern along. Of course we have. And I'm like, she's clearly going to fuck up your plan and fuck up his plan. She does.
Here's the logic in the plan. If you don't know that you have to be in that room to get it so the Republic can stop him anyway. It gives them basically, if they want to do anything against them, they have to save her first. Except that falls apart if they had to go there, anyway to bring down the shield, bring down the disruptor, or to allow the communication to go through, and so on and so forth. It's just okay, but Jod didn't know that. But
if Jod didn't bring Fern along, his plan would have been successful, correct?
No, if Jod didn't bring Fern along, they would have gone there anyway.
Okay. Would they have been allowed access to the supervisor? The kids?
Wim's dad is a level 7 supervising assistance data analyst.
HLB says this show is not bad enough for me to watch.
Thank you.
I revel in the bad Disney shows. Yeah, well, you know, we're gluttons for punishment apparently as well.
Yeah, this show's fine.
But he just says like, I will.
If you like the bad show, if you like Jack Black level bad Disney, like bad Star Wars, then yeah, no, this show really doesn't do that.
And he's like, I will take special care of you. It's just like, when my apprentice Darth Vader arrives, he will take good care of you. You need to wipe your mustache. There you go. There you go. You got it. And then we cut to Wim, and he's sharing a meal with his dad, and Wim's kind of saying that Judd is a bad guy, and we went on this epic adventure, and his dad's having none of it. He's completely oblivious, and that's the scene. We move on.
Well, he
from
doesn't
there.
really. We can kind of see he can't say what he wants to say because of the droid.
Well, you say this, but later on,
I know. I have
Fern and
no
her mother.
idea. I
Yeah.
don't know why he doesn't try to just like say it in code, like because we've seen that these droids they're not allowed to extrapolate on limited information. Like they accept, they take orders, they follow their programming. They cannot make assumptions. They have to see your hands before they assume you're hiding something
No,
that
but
you're not allowed to have.
no, but they clocked that like his breathing was off, he was sweating, and that droid made a beeline to him and sensed that something was up. It was like, hold out your hands. Like he knew that he was up to something. So they do have initiative and they can act on it.
Right, but they no, but they have right. They have, but only on information that they actually have. And if and so, well, I'm saying like they can theoretically, just try to talk around it. I guess is what I'm saying.
I
Like,
mean,
Dad, let me tell you a story about a Jedi and a child.
wouldn't they have been given orders to suppress any kind of chat between them in this scenario?
No, it doesn't seem so. It's more just like report what they're doing. Which, like, if he starts saying, "Hey, the emissary is a bad guy," then yeah, that's going to get reported. But if he starts telling him a story about a group of children and a Jedi who's actually a pirate, um, the droid wouldn't be able to extrapolate on that. The droid would he'd just be like, because as we see later, must save Princess Fern. Which
Well,
that happened.
I guess she is the main character then at this point. She really feels like she is to me in this.
She and Wim are definitely.
Yeah. HLB says, you guys kind of look alike. Are you related? I could probably Photoshop a mustache on the guy on the left, and they would literally be identical. And glasses. Yeah, he's my brother from another mother. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Twins.
Yeah, he's Danny DeVito, and I'm Arnold.
Excuse me.
You could do a
Excuse
better.
me.
You
You're
can
like
do
5'6" or something.
You can do a better DeVito than me.
Hello, Ongo Gablogian, the art collector. Charmed, I'm sure.
And the way he says "whore," I can't do it.
Well, you are a whore.
Are you banging my whore wife, or whatever he says?
It's who. It's like somebody who specifically goes around having sex with people from Whoville. It's a hooer. You are a hooer.
I know. Anyway, moving on. And I predicted this shit. I thought it was too much to ask. We got the delectable tones of Stephen Fry last episode, and me and you were excited. It's not every day. It's not ever actually before this point. You get Stephen Fry in a Star Wars product. It's taken a long time. It's been a long time coming.
And barely there.
It was hypothesized by someone brought this up, saying that they think it was just going to be a voice, and I was expecting Stephen Fry full Buccaneer regalia with a big fucking hat with a massive feather in it, and like those cuffs, like the Long John Silver cuffs, maybe even a hook for a hand. Would that be too much to ask? We had so many hopes and dreams. We thought the supervisor was going to be. I guess I was wrong in my second prediction. I thought I thought it was going to be a chick, didn't I? It was going to be the captain, or the captain was going to be the supervisor. The supervisor was going to be one of the same as the captain. But then we heard Stephen Fry, and this threw a spanner in the works. And it turns out, yes, yeah, the concubine was mentioned. Nothing came of that. And we have Stephen Fry.
That was so they could have the "what's a concubine" joke.
Yes, great to have so much of a payoff, isn't it? And we do get Stephen Fry, but as soon as it started, and I made a note, I still think this is going to be a Wizard of Oz situation, like a man behind the curtain. But you know what? I was expecting
That's
to
what
see,
when he
yeah,
started to stab, I was like, is Stephen Fry gonna be like, oh, you almost got me?
yeah, or it was,
No, he
yeah,
didn't.
or the
Instead,
concubine
it was
chick
like
was going to walk,
the droid ship at the end of Phantom Menace.
yeah, yeah. And so when we heard Stephen Fry's voice, and it was like I was playing Little Big Planet again on PlayStation, and it was great. I thought, like the concubine
Wait,
chick,
what?
or the captain. Do you ever play Little Big Planet on the PlayStation 3,
No,
PlayStation 4? Oh, it was a fun platformer. It was a good game, and
but
Stephen Fry
Stephen
did the
Fry
narration.
was. I wonder if I can find that for
So
reasons.
here we go. Stephen Fry did the narration, and then in the third game, Hugh Laurie plays the villain of the game. It's wonderful. Reunited, and it feels
Little
so
Big
good.
Planet narrator voice lines, and I can't find it. God damn it. We
So yeah,
almost had a new voice AI.
so well, he is basically a voice AI, and they weren't even subtle with this shit. He is he is
He's
Hal nine.
Hal.
He's Hal 9000.
Holy fucking shit, he is Hal 9000. You know what? I choose to believe that is a reference to my dear friend, Mr. I won't say his real name, Hal 9000, who is we're not that close. We've spoken a couple times.
We made out once, but
No, he's a fantastic fan editor who's done tremendous work with Star Wars, and this is definitely a reference to him.
and yeah,
Shut up,
and
it is.
no, I agree, and yeah, Stephen Fry is in this for maybe a couple of minutes. It's keeping
Honestly,
him
I
in
should listen
work.
to.
The man got paid for a few lines of dialogue, and he's Hal 9000, and then yeah, he gets stabbed by Jod. Jod does a Qui-Gon Jinn moment from Phantom Menace where he holds the lightsaber in, and he even kind of has the same expression on his face as he's twisting the
He
lightsaber in the
does.
door. He really does, doesn't he? Then there's a quote. I think Fern yells this, or no, I think it's Fern's mom. When Jod's saying like, "I need to contact my other ship to land," or something like that, and Fern's mom says, "Why
It's the
doesn't your
mom.
other yeah? Why doesn't your other ship just land like you did?" And I've put, but they weren't allowed to. That was the whole thing that Judd was arguing, right? She should know the regulations of AT-ATN and the supervisor and landing ships.
But no. When she said that, I thought for a second, I thought, oh, that is actually a good question because why wouldn't the other ship have emissary's clearance?
Well, I thought that was the point. When he landed, he said, "I really need to make contact with my other ship, the pirate ship," and they were like, "No, you've got to come with us straight away. You're not allowed to make contact." And he's like, "Look, I need
W-
to send word to my other ship," and they wouldn't let him. I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah, they were just following protocol, and then they also contact outside the barrier is strictly forbidden, so that's why he had to go talk to the administrator.
Yeah, but then Fern's mom's bitching at him like, "Well, hang on, why don't you just send them in?" It's like he tried. He tried many times. He
Right,
wasn't
but the
allowed.
droids aren't allowed to right, but the droids aren't allowed to extrapolate on the fact that the ship his other ship isn't allowed into the planet. Fern's
Hmm.
mom is.
It's right around this point as well that Fern immediately rats him out in the most obvious way possible. To which I said, "Well, why did John bring Fern along?" Because he says, "Oh yes, I'm an emissary," and she immediately chimes up and yells, "He's not an emissary. He's a pirate, and he's the captain of a pirate ship, and there's a bunch of pirates up there." And he's like, "Fuck, the jig's up," and then everything
Can I
goes
ask you a
to shit.
question?
Sure.
Considering what he does next, why does that actually hurt him? In your opinion, because I was kind of watching because I had gotten your opinion on his actions in this episode when like before I even watched it because I watched this during my break at work today. Um, on a TV, I gave it a proper watch. Uh, but the I was watching this and there wasn't really a time where I was just like, well, that was just like stupid for the sake of plot convenience. Like I could follow some logic with what he was doing with bringing Fern along. And when she outs him, it's not like it matters because what he does next, he could have done whether like he probably would have ended up doing anyway because the administrator outs him anyway. Now that
Well,
again, he didn't know
I
was going to
think
happen.
I think he resorts to violence and the bombardment because he had no other choice in that moment. I think if he had his way, he would have schmoozed the supervisor, claimed the riches or however many he needed, and got the hell up out of there. But with his story that he was an emissary, otherwise, what's the point? Like, there's no point in even saying you're an emissary. You may as well just fly in and bombard the planet straight away. He knew that Fern was on, up to some shit because she was being very snidey and everything. So why didn't he leave her on board the ship with Wim? Because apparently, if they've got droids that are watching them and will report them or harm them if they say anything incriminating, then just keep Fern there. Go by yourself. They've already showed you where the gold is. The hard part's over. You just landed and said, "Hey, I'm an emissary," and they were like, "Hey, come into Fort Knox and check out all of our riches that we're going to let you actually touch." And while you're at it, let's take you to the supervisor. Have a word with the supervisor. So I'm like, okay, so was the supervisor AI? Was he a real person? We don't know. But anyway, it's not until she
We
says
know it was an AI.
it's not until she says he's a dirty, filthy pirate and he's here to like destroy you all, where he's like, he like rolls his eyes like, I wish you hadn't have said that. Why bring her along? What do you gain by bringing Fern along? Nothing. It just keeps her in the
No,
plot.
he gains and again he gains a hostage he doesn't use later. He doesn't really get a
He won't
chance to
need
use later.
one. It's not like it. Okay, a hostage.
But he doesn't not need one. That's like it's not like it's like throwing away money. If you're a pirate, if you're a pirate, hostages and money. Those are the two commodities.
Yeah, but with a hostage, you need leverage. Like, okay, a hostage situation would work if he's got the riches and he's trying to leave the planet and they're preventing him from leaving. So he grabs someone
But
of high
hang on,
importance and
no.
said, I
But
will
in
kill
that
this person
with
if you
that
don't let me leave.
logic, but following your same scenario, he does have the riches. It is the planet.
Well, no, it's the gold. It's the gold. It's the mint, right?
No. But he doesn't just want like what's already. He wants them to keep printing.
Yes. But again, why would he need just a random civilian off the planet? I just don't follow that logic.
Because these three kids who seem to like her are probably going to throw an electro spanner in the works. I
And
think electro spanner, hydro spanner. Give me
yeah,
the hydro spanner. Yeah.
so he
Ah! That
destroys the
wasn't a laser
AI.
blast. Something hit us.
So he destroys the AI. Stephen Fry is now out of the show, and there's no greater reveal as to who is behind the supervisor or a captain or anything. That's just that.
Can I just can you put the most recent thing from what would a pirate life be like without some juicy whores? I just wanted to read that. We were talking about that earlier, and I thought I wanted to address it.
Carl says, I do feel the world and history of Atatin, the great work, the droids, the barrier was left a little too vague. Yeah, I totally agree. I was expecting. Well, when I saw the runtime of the episode at 41 with credits, I thought, they're not going to answer a thing in this episode, are they? And they don't. So, yeah, to me, the most intriguing stuff was what is the history of Atatin? Why has it been shrouded? Why do they know nothing about the outside world? What happens if the barrier is brought down and they're suddenly in modern times because they're like years in the past in terms of their knowledge of things. The
Yeah, I mean,
ramification of all
look at the
these.
way that the droids go down.
Yeah,
And when
yeah.
that happened, I was like, "Oh my god, of course!" Because they're from before the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
So when the Central Intelligence went down and all the droids shut down, I was like, "Oh yeah," because there's a deleted scene of that technology being made a thing in Attack of the Clones.
You got the
Have you
ramification
seen
of.
that, by the way?
I don't know if I have. I'm not sure.
Mundi and a team of Jedi attack a droid control ship on Geonosis,
Mhm.
and they shut it down, and all of the droids attacking the Jedi. That's why the that before was added. That's why the super battle droids and the battle droids stopped attacking the Jedi, and
Oh,
then
right. Okay.
they started attacking on their own. And Mundi says, "I'm defeated from the control ship."
Oh, I didn't know that. No, that's cool. Well, hang on. Wasn't he already in the arena at that point?
He wasn't now.
Oh,
That he was probably added later.
yeah. You see him on the balcony, don't you? I think where he ignites the lightsaber.
Well, you see
So
him switch between a green and a blue lightsaber in the background a couple
so
times.
but yeah, to Carl's point there, like yeah, that was the stuff that was keeping me mildly
It was
intrigued with
pretty
this show.
interesting, and yeah, they didn't do anything with it. Um, I feel like we've gotten enough that we can insinuate. But why, like we can get like why certain things are the way they are, but then you're like, well, wait, but why are they kind of religious about this? Is it
Hmm.
just because the whole planet is so isolated that's just what inevitably happens? Or because you honestly, I would have disagreed with everything if you didn't include the words the great work, because the words the great work make all of it much more interesting and vague, because what the fuck happened there?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
That's so cultish and interesting. What happened?
I was expecting some kind of totalitarian 1984 style government, something like the end of V for Vendetta, where the truth is revealed to the people, or something like that. We get nothing. So we had all these, and this is why I say, what was this series made for?
In V
What
for
was this
Vendetta, they
story?
just shoot a kid.
Well, yeah, but it's like, well, there you go. We could have got rid of Fern. We could have got rid of Neil, or the cyborg chick whose name I've forgotten.
Oh fuck, KD.
Yeah, that's it. Katie Lang. Yeah. um. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I was thinking,
She's
yeah,
Asian,
yeah, it works. It checks out.
but
But
we
it
you
just,
can get rid of that.
it was
Sorry,
just,
Carl, but
it was just
it's
a
bothering me.
it was just a story that led to absolutely nothing, and any sense of intrigue, it's just not paid off, and it's not even where it's teed up for a season two, where hopefully we get a season two because we promise we're going to answer all of these questions. You don't even get that. Like, it feels self-contained, and usually I wouldn't be kind of hung up about that, but I kind of am, because it feels like a complete waste of time. The finale was so anticlimactic and didn't really lead to anything, and I don't feel like it tied up or even remotely attempted to answer any of the world building, the kind of intriguing and interesting world building, I'll actually say, surrounding the planet and all the events surrounding it.
I will say, world building questions probably, if by their nature, shouldn't be directly addressed in a season finale like this.
Well, no, they should be sprinkled through,
No,
and it feels like we've wasted so much time. Remember when we like were fighting alongside that child resistance freedom for? So the whole point of that episode was to establish the gun turret and nothing
gun.
else. That was it.
Chekhov's gun turret. Yes.
Yeah, literally. And when they said like, oh, when the owl lady's like, I'm sending him back up, I was like, are we gonna get like the childhood soldiers touching down on the ground, and we're gonna have like a ground force? Even in that episode, they set up this villainous faction, which we see. They have tanks, they have armor, they have camels. Seems a bit superfluous once. Well, I guess, can you get green milk out of a Tatooinean camel? I don't know. Probably. I don't. They have camels, even though they have heavy artillery and are seemingly very, very well provisioned and well stocked. And you don't even see that feud happen on screen. Nothing
I mean,
comes
you
of
say
that.
well provisioned. They have daily rations.
Well, yeah, but I guess they
They have
have
like
camels as
one
well
meal
now.
a day.
Yeah. So Jod stabs Stephen Fry's AI, and it goes down, and the whole system goes down, and there's a huge, planet-wide, seemingly, power outage. At this point, the pirates start landing, and immediately start firing on all the civilians. And I'm like, why would you do this? Like,
Yeah, I was watching this like they're like when he said we'll just land, take our credits, and go, and then
that's a
they
good
start
plan.
shooting. I was like, no, 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 that was a very good plan. You should do
Yeah.
that.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
But at the same time, I have to like I've given this some thought today because I I've said this in past streams. I drive for a living. That's what I do for most of the day. So I have a lot of time in my own head, and it's scary. Uh, but so you're familiar with El Dorado,
Yes.
which technically just translates to the gold. People
Hmm.
say it means the city of gold, but it just means the gold. So the evolution of that myth started with a legend of El Hombre Dorado, which was the man, the brother of gold, the man of gold. No, just the man of gold, and it was basically about a man who was covered in gold, who and would like shed his goldness in a river, in a lake, and then they found a lake full of gold dust near a place that had a tradition of covering their king, their inaugurational king, in gold dust and not baptizing because they weren't Christian, but washing him in the river. And it's like, well, okay, you found it, but there wasn't enough gold, so that can't be the story. And that's well, and so El Hombre Dorado died, and El Dorado lived on, and because there was never going to be enough gold. So with that in mind, I kind of see him being like, okay, no, no, I want you to keep producing gold. The problem is there's over 110 vaults of more gold than can like just crash the galactic economy. So in the sense that, there was never going to be enough gold, fuck that. There's enough goddamn gold.
Hmm. Yeah.
They told us there's enough gold.
Well, they're just laying
I
waste to everything. I was like, what if you blew up the credits? What if you blew up the mint?
No, 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 no. He saw that they were in a vault.
But very perplexingly, and I'm kind of jumping
Didn't blow
ahead
up the
here.
bin. I just realized that they didn't blow up that big fucking engine that was clearly going to blow up.
No, I know. But Jod says that I need the civilians as workers.
No, yeah, no, I get it. Or
So,
like, I don't know if Jod is right, but I follow Jod's logic based off of both of our limited information.
so he wants to seat himself there as the new Lord of Atatin and getting everyone to constantly print gold doubloons.
Yeah, like well, like that whole rant about El Dorado, like the amount of gold he has is like 100 million bajillion dollars credits. Uh, but the thing is, the workers are unlimited credits, and so that's why it's technically more. But he's so fucking wrong. Just take the credits and go, you idiot.
Yeah, I
But El
mean,
Dorado was never going to be enough. God fucking damn it,
take
history.
take the credits, destroy the mint, and you have instant capital because no one else can reproduce that shit.
I wonder if
And
that. No, 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 no. The other planets
it's
didn't
like
weren't mint,
it's
were
like
they?
when Red Letter Media destroyed all of the Nuki tapes, and they sold that one Nuki tape. If you have all of these gold doubloons that are super rare, if you destroy the means of making any more of them, and you are in possession of the only old ancient doubloons that are already worth a lot of money, your quid's
Counterpoint.
in.
Counter. Now it doesn't really apply here, but I do have a counter to the Nuki tapes. Um, if you find a landfill full of N60 or Atari ET games, you can't start selling them in bulk. That's going to destroy the value. But
Yes.
what you can do is sell 2 or 3 at a time
Mm-hmm.
and pretend they're still rare.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But that means you don't that means you don't make them actually rare by destroying the landfill. You empty the landfill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. HLB says, does this forgettable show deserve a second season?
No, all the world building could be continued in other things.
Or is the current Disney system
Also,
simply not able to create something truly great? I will say Disney can't do TV. That goes for Marvel. That goes for Star Wars. Disney
I disagree. I
cannot.
think they could have done they could have done all of these shows, but they just should have just done them as one show.
They can't write for serialized TV. If you look at HBO, for example, the masters of TV that have produced some of the greatest shows ever. Recently, I know you probably haven't seen it yet, but The Penguin, how they write for TV
Fuck off.
feels like episodic serialized TV. This feels like they have a concept for maybe like a 90-minute to 2-hour movie max. Drag it out, fill it with padding to extend it to 8 episodes.
what happened. That is what that fuck me in the face.
Do you want to take another shot at that?
Yeah.
Okay. In your own time. There you go.
We know.
Do you want to take another shot at that?
Hang on.
Okay. Yeah, you get that. JX editor, can you hear me?
We know that I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, fuck. That wasn't worth it, was it? Thanks for the comment, HLB, anyway. Right. Fuck. Speeder bikes. We got to bring the 80s speeder bikes back, haven't we?
Oh my
We have the ET
god.
moment.
That's well. Here's the crazy thing. When I saw his dad show up in the one with like the extra seat, and then Neil crashed, I was like, Neil's gonna get in the side seat. That's clearly what's about to happen. He's like, just go. I happen to be in the building with Chekhov's gun turret, so
Yeah.
it's okay that I stopped here.
It's great that he got shot off his speeder bike right precisely in that location.
Hang on, the most recent comment.
We talking about calls or HLBs?
HLB. It's clear that that's what happened for Kenobi.
Yes, well, it was. No, it was quite publicly, and the Boba Fett movie, which became The Mandalorian. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's what happened for Ahsoka. Ahsoka was just Rebels season 5.
Cole says it would be a bit frustrating to get answers like who the headless statue was or the dead captain is in a comic. I mean, yeah. I mean, just, don't fucking set it up if you ain't going to pay it off in your show in any way, shape, or form. I hate that shit. Speeder bikes. Yeah, speeder bikes. Shooty, pew, pew, pew. I literally have my next note is pew, 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 ... I'm just watching stuff move on screen. Wim's dad on the speeder bike, like, woo, yeah, and these
something about Wim's dad, just his general look is very uncomfortable to me. I don't know what it is. Just like his beard is always that shape, and he's always that sweaty. I don't know what this is.
He does sweat quite a lot.
I have noticed this every episode he has appeared in.
Yeah, you've only brought it up
and I have
now.
stayed silent. What the fuck is it? Does anybody else see this? What is it? Me?
I think
What is this? Why am I uncomfortable looking at him? He looks kind of like a wax figure. I don't get it. I don't like that I feel this way.
It might just be you, dude. I don't know.
I know. That's the scary part.
He Oh yeah, I agree. Oh sorry, I thought that
Okay,
comment read
maybe it's
something else.
that. Maybe.
It doesn't feel like an actual actor.
Thank you, Carl.
He's really fucking bad. Like his comedy and like the way he says it, yeah, it's just really
I'm heavy,
doesn't work.
Wim.
Yeah, it's so unnatural. Sorry. Natural. HLB says Marvel seems to be turning things around. At least they recognize they have a problem. I don't get the feeling from Disney yet. I mean, they are trying to course correct, and by course correct, it just seems like they're really fucking desperate. It's like, shit, what do we do? Phase 4 and 5 fucking sucked. What do? We wanted to do Kang. Our plans for that went awry. Go for broke. Let's bring Robert Downey Jr. back, but he's going to be Doctor Doom this time. In fact, except he's not going to be Doctor Doom. He's going to be Doctor Doom for one movie, and then we're going to get the actual reveal of proper Doctor Doom probably at the end of that film or leading into a part 2. What else are they doing? They're bringing Chris Evans back as Captain America. They want to do they're either bringing him back for Secret Wars or something, or they're going to do a series about how he puts all the Infinity Stones back and then proceeds to sit on his ass for decades and watch all of the atrocities happen to America and to the world, and he's just going to sit with Peggy. I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, my God, that is a foxy fine lady. He's done very, very well for himself, and we're all very happy for him.
Hey, question.
Are
we at the point where KD has stolen the Onyx Cinder back?
I'm not sure. So I've got Neil is shot off the bike. I actually have a note here saying the music here is pretty good. They have like the Skeleton Crew fanfare, and it all seems very fun. I just wish I cared about what was on screen, but the music was pretty good in this scene, I thought.
I assumed 12-year-olds probably cared.
This again, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to raise the specter of Finn's dad. Wim's dad here for a second. They get to the spaceship, and he says, "You know how to fly this thing?" I was like, "Didn't he already know that? Wasn't that already established?"
No. He showed up with a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And also, then he was like on the outside of the ship at one point when he took off, and I think his dad saw that, so he knew it was flying on its own.
This might be around that point. I have a note here, so I mean, if this happens before, then obviously feel free to jump in with KD. This is where Fern and her mother are conspiring to try and escape or to overthrow Jod in this room.
I like how that ends with him being like, "Stop scheming!
Again,
I can hear you."
Again, why bring them? They're openly scheming against you. Shoot them in the fucking face.
No. Actually, that might be exactly why, because Fern is allegedly the smart one. So keeping her nearby, he can be like, "I can see you planning against me."
He's doing it to prove a point?
No, he's doing it so he can like stay on top of her planning against him. Like, if anyone was going to make a plan to fuck him over that might work, according to all the other characters, it would be Fern.
This feels like, you know this scene. You quote this scene all the time. Princess Bride, The Battle of Wits. It feels like that. It's like, exactly.
I don't quote that all the time. I love the scene. I can quote it beginning to end, but I don't quote it all the time.
You've mentioned it quite a few times, and you have quoted it at least in the past. Anyway, a number of times. Anyway, it'd be like...
Not remotely.
Yeah, Fern's like, you know I'm conspiring against you. Exactly! So me bringing you here and me seeing you conspiring against me will tell me that you're conspiring against me, and I can play. It's like, what are you trying to achieve here, dude? Like, if you know that she's going to conspire
it means he knows how she's conspiring against him, and he's like, well, I can easily counter that.
But then why even go through that trouble? Just, you won't even need to counter anything if she's not there.
No. That's not true at all.
Is it not?
Yeah, no. If she's not there, then she can counter him from afar. She can be like, okay, let's go there and do this. But now she's already there. She has to do this while she's here, and he can see her planning to do that.
My point is that this conspiring shouldn't even be happening, because the droids should be on that shit instantly. They apparently
there are no droids anymore.
There is one standing right there, isn't there?
No, all the droids are shut down after the Master of Lake Town is killed.
Oh, but there was like a droid standing guard with like the gun. She's like, we're going to grab the gun. Had that already been shut down at that point?
Yeah, no, it was.
I did wonder that. Yeah, I must have missed where they all got shut down. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, it because the technology is from before Phantom Menace.
Then why leave the gun in its hand where Fern or the mother could possibly make a break for it?
Well, that would mean he'd have to go to each individual droid and just like knock it over or
There's
something.
one guarding Fern, isn't there?
Also, to my understanding, they never get the blaster out of the droid's hand. So
No,
this is a
they don't
non-issue.
because he shoots at them, but just why would you take that chance? There's a fucking
He
rifle
shoots
there.
at them as they're struggling to even get it out of the thing's hand. So can they even get it out? So therefore, this fuck.
Then they start coming up with this really unconvincing story
Also,
about
I need
how.
to throw something out there.
Yep,
Clone Wars season 1 and 2. Like we need to remember this is on the level of Clone Wars seasons 1 and 2.
great. What a sterling write up, eh? Wow. Um,
Oh
and
yeah,
the,
yeah, no. The thing that the Clone Wars really did right was aging with its audience, but that meant aging with its audience.
they proceed to tell him this really unconvincing and outlandish story that the
What the
Jedi.
fuck was this with the crystal and the temple and the
I
mountain?
I was going to mention this, and I thought, is JX will know
Is this
this?
a
Is
reference to Splinter of the Mind's Eye?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it a reference to some like old Legends expanded universe shit? A story from that's
It's
really convoluted?
kind of a reference to Splinter of the Mind's Eye, but it's not slightly.
Okay.
Like, there's no way that that's what they were doing.
I did wonder that. I forgot to write that as a note, but I'm glad you
It
brought
was
that
like
up. Yeah.
you couldn't think of something that was like slightly plausible.
Mm.
There's a crystal that lets you transmit off planet.
And they're like halting when they're describing it. There's a crystal. Yeah. A crystal that
I think you're giving them I think you're giving them a little bit not enough credit, but I get what you're saying.
it's like, and there's an army of
Also,
Jedi
I
on the
just wanted
way.
I wanted yeah, no, that's what really fucking gave it away. But on that note, the previous when KD steals the Onyx Cinder
Hmm.
or crashes into the Onyx Cinder. Remember when she flies the speeder bike into the up the loading ramp and knocks over the disabled droid?
Hmm.
Now, if you took a bunch of sounds of metal screeching and you made a voice model of that, like you could see how an AI would treat that as a voice, right?
Hmm.
So take that and speech to speech a Wilhelm scream.
I knew you were going there. I knew it. Yeah. Yeah, did we get one this whole series? I can't remember.
No, I don't think any of the TV shows have one.
Not even the films had one. As in like
What?
seven as in Disney Star Wars.
I think 7 did. I don't know if 8 or 9 did.
I don't think 8 or 9 did.
I
And
know I know 8 didn't because I've seen people at it.
mhm.
I think there's one. I think it's in the Rathtar scene, which is why it keeps getting removed in edits.
Oh right. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, the kids say that we've contacted the Jedi and there's an army of Jedi on the way, and I'm very glad that Jod immediately says he's not even
All the
entertaining this.
Jedi are dead.
Yeah. Um
That's what they want you to think. No,
and
I know.
I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but Jod says that the Jedi found him. He was cowering in a hole. He was like a pauper, basically. And a
We have
Jedi.
answers for that.
Yeah, he says
Yeah.
a Jedi found me, and she said I had potential. And I thought, oh, is this going to be Ahsoka? Are we? And then I was my head
No,
was
no, no, no.
my head was
No,
trying to
no, no,
do the
no.
math, and I thought maybe the math ain't mathing on that one. I'm not sure. But then he says, and then she was killed right in front of me. I don't know why he wasn't killed, because if they're purging the Jedi and he was essentially her apprentice and he was there.
V for Vendetta.
What?
When Evie sees Stephen Fry getting killed.
Oh, he hid. Oh, okay, fair. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, and he says, I watched her be killed, and that's it. That's the extent
Spoiler
of what we
for
get.
V for Vendetta.
Yeah,
Just for those who care
that stars a
about
lot more
Stephen Fry.
Stephen. Yeah, that stars a lot more Stephen Fry in
I
that
was
film.
yeah. I bet he made a pretty penny off of that.
Nice. Hey, do you know what? That movie had 2 Wilhelm screams in the extended version. Desolation of Smaug got 2.
Oh, I thought you were talking about V for Vendetta. I was like, what the fuck are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Where would you put a Wilhelm scream in a? It's got to be where he's like carving everyone up in the subway station at the end, right? In slow motion.
Well, I was thinking I was trying to I was thinking one of
Or
the guys in
the alleyway at the
the
beginning, the finger men.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you put it in the subway where everything's in slow motion, does that mean you need a slow mo Wilhelm? It'd be really weird. So at least
bad. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's like otherworldly, isn't it? Ugh. So at least we get some kind of
I
explanation.
might save that if I use a Banshee in D&D.
Because honestly, the way that this episode was going, I was fully expecting to not get any answers regarding Jod's abilities, powers, or anything. So I'm glad we got something at least. But all this fucking setup with this lightsaber.
It does explain why he's so not Jedi.
Yeah. Well, you say this, but then he kind of unleashes his force powers, no pun intended, full force towards the end of this episode. I'm like, where were they before? Why didn't you use this shit? It's like in episode 8.
I feel like they were all pretty fucking tame.
It's like in Last Jedi. It's like, why does no one use the force during combat? In episode 7, we established that Kylo can hold a blaster bolt in midair as he's having a conversation. And then during the whole like Praetorian Guard fight in episode 8, he just forgets he can use the force.
Yeah, I mean the same applies to the Grievous fight. And like basically every time anyone who has the force fights somebody who doesn't have the force.
Kenobi force pushes Grievous into the ceiling.
At one point, yeah, because he remembers he has the force. But imagine if he did that as soon as Grievous starts doing this. Because why wouldn't he?
Because it's going to be so fucking cool when he's fighting something with 4 twirling lightsabers, which immediately gets cut down to 2 anyway. And it's like,
yeah, in like 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
I
dun,
agree.
Yeah, it's a great fucking movie.
Yeah, we were about to come to blows earlier over The Last Jedi. It happens every now and then when we got to blow off some steam. One of us will throw either praise or shade at Last Jedi.
With everything we see in the Return of the
Jedi.
Jedi.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this right now. We have Skeleton Crew to talk about. We are not doing this right now. I don't have the strength. So it's an explanation for Jod. Do you think it's a bit of an underwhelming one? Do you think it could have amounted to something more?
It means when the Jedi died, he didn't lose anything, and I feel like that kind of sucks. But at the same time, it does explain why he's not Jedi-y. Actually speaking, harkening back to those 3 episodes in the Clone Wars with the kids. I had seen theories that he was one of the younglings in that. And you know what? He has the same widow's peak, but that's because he's Jude Law.
That's right. I did remember reading that somewhere. I think we mentioned that on some of the earlier episode reviews.
And you know what? That kid was a little fucked up. He was like, he built the lightsaber. And was like, this is the lightsaber that's going to defeat Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? What are you planning?
It was during this scene where all the kids show up and start telling him this really far-fetched story. I have a note saying, why doesn't he just shoot them all? Why does he need them? And just
no, it's pretty clear he doesn't want to kill kids. He's pretty obviously like I really
but he'll indirectly bombard an entire place which is probably going to kill hundreds of kids in the bombardment. But okay.
It might, but it might not.
But he didn't pull the
Actually, it
trigger,
ends up
right?
not killing anybody from the look of it. Especially, hang on, I got a note from much later in the episode when the X-Wings show up. Do you mind if I jump ahead?
Sure. I just have a note on SM-33 being back, but I think we've kind of already covered that a little bit, maybe.
Well, when they shoot down the pirate ship and it crashes and it goes down the middle of a street, not hitting a single house, but
Yeah.
like destroying the street. I
Yeah.
just wrote, well, commute tomorrow is going to suck.
Yeah, well, do they have hover ships in this suburbs?
Oh yeah, that's actually a good point. I guess it's probably going to be fine. Which
Or do you need?
actually,
Oh, actually,
that
do you
reminds
need
me
the
of a
do you need
complaint
the
about.
ground? You might need the ground underneath you that it like repulses off, like Luke's speeder in A New Hope.
Actually, that is a good point. Yeah, no, probably does.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of a complaint about Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace. That's, I think, pretty, pretty, pretty legit. If you have 360 degrees of motion, why are you traveling in a straight line like it's a road?
Yeah.
Traffic. How is there traffic?
Yeah, I guess there has to be some kind of order when there's like thousands of billions of ships flying around, but
Order,
order.
order.
Oh, that's yeah. I think you probably do need the ground underneath you because I'm thinking of Darth Maul's speeder bike where he drives towards Anakin and Qui-Gon to give chase, and he goes off the edge, but he lands perfectly
I
hovering on the
laugh
floor.
every
So
fucking time. You laugh,
it's
right?
how his little sleeves fly up when he when he goes over the edge.
HLB.
How are
So
they
when we
dropping bombs
see,
in The Last Jedi?
so we see earlier, Paige falls off of the ladder. So that means while inside the ship, there is a simulated gravity, and when you enter an area with no gravity, that does not mean you're going to start randomly floating suddenly. It means you're going to carry the momentum with literally no resistance.
But the hatch is opened at that point.
So
The hatch
she
is
can still breathe.
when no, listen. When Paige falls, the hatch isn't open. There's the gravity within the ship. When she pulls the lever and it opens.
When Paige catches the remote that almost falls out of the ship, the stars behind her are a backdrop. So yeah, it is.
Well, that's a fucked up thing then with that because then she's in an airlock. Then not in an airlock.
That's,
She's in
how the ship works.
she's in the vacuum of space at that point.
No, there's clearly a force field containing the atmosphere and
How does Leia get back in when because that's not airlocked when they let her in when she forces her way back to the ship there's no door
yeah, no.
behind her, there's no
Honestly, the
airlock.
only thing that should have killed Leia when she was in space was like the ass loads of cancer she would have gotten from the nearby star. But everything else, I mean, as long as she wasn't holding her breath, her lungs wouldn't have exploded. She shouldn't have opened her eyes.
You're avoiding the thing that I'm saying. There's when she
Oh,
flies back to the glass, there's no door behind her. There's no thing
yeah, there is.
to negate.
No, no,
No,
no,
there is
no, no.
no. She
You
flies
can
straight
see the
in.
door. No, no, no. You can see the door behind her closing as the door in front of her opens.
Oh, can you? Well, do they
Yep.
decompress it? Oh, okay. I
That's
thought she
how an
flies straight
airlock
in.
works.
Okay. And I stand corrected. If there is a door, I thought she flies straight into like a exploded open hangar and just touches the glass.
You know, that would be fucking. That would be bad. That would kill a lot of people
But she should be fucking dead instantly in like 10
from
seconds.
cancer.
Well, from every
Or
like
if she held
her blood would
it,
boil.
so basically, so the things that would kill you if you're in space for that long. Again, she shouldn't have opened her eyes because there's a good chance that not having anything to like shield them at all, even just your eyelids, they could freeze. So she'd be blind. Um, yeah, given time, her blood would boil. But the real danger is if she held her breath, which it tells you to do in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't do if you're ever being sucked into space. Don't hold your breath because all of that air is going to be sucked out as soon as you enter a vacuum. And guess what? Your lungs are going to go with it.
No,
Yourself is going to prolapse.
her blood would boil within 5 to 10 seconds. She would be dead
I
instantly.
if
Stop defending this
wait,
fucking
what are
pig
you
swill.
what are you referring to? Like, what would cause that? Is it the star, or is it what would boil her blood?
Well, it's just the pressure, I assume. There's a video, I did check this
The
on multiple
pressure, I
videos.
assume.
There are multiple videos that explains what would happen to a human body should it be
You
sucked out
see,
into the vacuum of space.
it's not really fair to talk to me about this because the day I saw The Last Jedi, I watched a video called "10 Misconceptions about Space That Everybody Believes."
I
So
didn't just watch one video on this. I watched multiple to corroborate the sources. I don't just watch one.
interesting.
So yeah.
I'm just saying, like the day I saw The Last Jedi, I watched a video where I literally watched a video about like, yeah, no. So everybody think, you go out, your head explodes. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. Although you shouldn't hold your breath. That's where I learned you shouldn't hold your breath if you're going to go in space, because again, your lungs the air will be sucked out so quickly it will take your lungs with them. It's gross. You will be a prolapse.
It's where they should have killed
You
Leia.
will be the prolapse.
Again, it's another
Imagine
example.
it.
It's another example in that movie of, oh wow, something cataclysmic's happened, and we just immediately reset the status quo, and Leia's back on the ship, and everything. The end of the film just moves along
Status
as normal.
quo. The
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about? She's unconscious for most of that movie.
Yeah, great. And then she's back being just exactly in the same role that she was at the beginning of the movie. So why
What are you
even
talking about?
why
Follow
even
him.
why even have Leia get sucked out into the vacuum of space in the first place if you're not going to kill her off and you're not going to do anything with it, or have her be the one who does the holdo maneuver?
What do you?
You know
wait,
what?
wait,
Here's
wait,
the thing:
what are you talking
don't
about?
have
Her
the
absence
holdo.
was the source of the conflict in Poe's story.
The artificial conflict of Holdo's a cunt, Holdo's a cunt. Actually, Holdo's a hero all of a sudden. We're not doing. We are not doing. No,
Prick
no.
was recently demoted, and like literally, if you asked anyone who did service if a recently demoted, I'm gonna say captain, but
She
actually,
got everyone
by
killed.
real world, by real world rankings, for some reason in Star Wars, commander and captain are swapped, but. Yeah.
Actually, the rule
Basically,
of
if somebody
command is
was
to keep
recently
everyone
demoted from
informed.
captain to commander instead of commander to captain, because that's how that's what happened in the movie.
Her great plan is to just take refuge on another planet. Notice, as soon as Poe hears this, he is instilled with a new sense of vigor and hope and belief in the cause. It's not just Poe. A lot of the crew are fucking mutinying against her. People are fucking dying. There's like 10
Less
guys.
than a dozen people.
There's like 10 guys left at the end of the movie, and there's no sign of. There are not 300 people on the Millennium Falcon at the end of the film, my dude.
No. Oh, sorry. I
fucking
thought you were referring
slightest.
to at that point in the story, because by then there are 300.
Then they all get pot. Her plan is fucking terrible, and then she
Only
does the
because of
holdo
Poe.
maneuver, which breaks the whole fucking everything of fucking Star Wars. You don't do the
Not
fucking
really.
holdo maneuver.
Not really. But regarding the Holdo's plan not working, Holdo's plan doesn't work because of Poe. Like if Poe had just, been a fucking try.
We are not doing this right now, dude.
Night.
I have shit to do. We're at 1 hour and 14. We are not turning this into a fucking Last Jedi.
So are you rage quitting?
I can feel my blood boiling right now, more than fucking Leia should be in space.
No, I feel no boiling. I'm pretty confident in my stances. I'm like The Last Jedi is the second best movie made in the 2010s.
Fuck you, actually. Fuck you.
Number one, in my opinion, is Mad Max Fury Road. Very good movie.
Oh. that's another film that is a long road to the same destination at the end of the movie. You got a pattern with the films that you like.
I mean, you're quite literally like correct about that movie. Like they go down a long road and then go back.
It's fucking dumb. It's like we need to leave this
Actually, is
place.
that wait, no, dial it back, dial it back. Can you describe the Wizard of Oz like that?
Well, that's all a dream, or is it?
No, exactly. It's the same. It's the strong with this. Isn't it strong with the delusion? This one is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Down with the sickness. This one is.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like the Mad Max Fury Road.
God damn it, that's going to be in my head now.
Mad Max Fury Road is really frustrating to me because she's like, we need to leave this place because it's like fucking crazy. We need to find the promised land of milk and honey or whatever. And they get there and he says, yeah, it's just desert. There you go. That's a subversion of your expectations. You were expecting this. Well, guess what? It's just fucking desert and it's shit. Who were your parents? They were nothing. And then it's like, you do know, like, where we started this movie, you had shelter, you had food and a water supply. It's maybe not so bad after all. She's like, huh, you're right. And they drive back. That's the movie.
It's bad when you like get rid of the bad parts that they killed on along the way, and then on the way back.
Just get rid of the bad parts while you're there. Don't take me on this 2-hour movie for nothing.
But she had good cause to believe the green place was real. It's not like she's there like it's not like she's there.
Yeah, now
really, you're not a native Korean translated to English speaker.
Now you should feel bad about yourself. I think you should apologize to HLB.
No. I did not apologize to Ivan Ortega when we had this conversation. I am not apologizing to HLB.
Can we please finish talking about this fucking piece of shit Skeleton Crew episode? Thank you.
Listen,
right.
Ivan Ortega.
Oh, no. I mean, if that ever comes up, you have the round, my friend. Like, you take it. You go for it. So Smee is back. SM33 is back in the flesh. Well, in the chrome. He's a droid, but he's back. No one's ever really gone.
In the Durasteel.
In the Durasteel, yeah. The owl chick sends in the New Republic. And the New Republic are on the way. Ooh, we're gonna have some pew pew fighty fight space. So Jod talks about the Jedi, how the Jedi found him, and saw that he had potential, and his master was killed. I'm assuming that he didn't get.
Can you even call her
that? Teacher, instructor,
teacher. Teacher, yes, and for that I shall be eternally grateful. But master, never.
Nice. And right at this point, Jod conveniently turns his back and gets like grabbed from behind, and I'm like, you are just an absolute Saturday morning cartoon villain at this point, aren't you? So all that whole thing about, I know you're conspiring, I can stop you by shooting at you, it just goes out the window because he just turns his back. And yeah, and then everything starts going wrong for Jod, doesn't it? Because he's a terrible, completely incompetent villain who's played very, very well by Jude Law, and he's an intriguing character. I just wish he'd have been a bit more competent. It's at this point, I think they're trying to reach for that lever, aren't they? They're trying to pull it to get to take down the barrier so that the X-Wings can fly in and save the day or something. And it's at this point that Jod is using the Force, and he's using the Force quite effectively, as we talked about. I'm just like, why has this not come up before? He could have used this many times.
He uses it all right.
Force push those motherfuckers. Anyway, they managed to pull the lever.
Had some drinks this stream.
They managed to pull the lever, and the barrier is lifted. To which I say, couldn't he just push the lever back to where it was to activate the barrier again?
I don't think you can turn it back on.
Oh,
because the exact words they used were "destroy the barrier," not uh, not 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 you know deactivate the barrier.
there's an IT crowd joke just waiting to happen somewhere in there, isn't there?
Yeah, no, there's no turning this off and on again. What
Anyway,
operating system does it use? Vista! We're
we're
going
going
to
to
die!
die. So the barrier is lifted.
9118999
Oh god.
88199 9119725
3.
3.
There we go. So the barrier is lifted on Atatin, finally, and the X-Wings show up, and some B-Wings as well. Or are they... Hang on.
Yeah, I
They are
haven't
B-Wings,
seen
right?
B-Wings do that since Rebels.
Yeah. I never... Like,
Which
X-Wing...
actually, that
X-Wing,
reminds me.
I get it.
Did you
Why...
know that B-Wings can do that?
I'm not sure if they could. The names always bothered me, because you have the X-Wings, and you're like,
It's
yeah,
Blade.
that checks out. The
It's
Y-Wings,
for
yeah, that
Blade.
checks...
It's
Oh.
for Blade.
Oh.
B is for Blade.
Oh, oh, the cross guard and the thing. Oh, okay,
Yeah, no,
okay.
I get it. I know. A wing makes sense. X wing, Y wing, B wing is for Blade. It doesn't.
Well, you raised the point as
Yeah,
well. I mean, when Star Wars was originally made, they didn't have Arabesh, did they? It was written in
Arabesh.
English,
Yeah.
all the text on screen. And then you mentioned when that got changed and Star Wars got its own fictional writing and everything. The name like
What are those?
X-Wing, B-Wing,
What are those?
Y-Wing
What are those ships?
doesn't really apply, does it? Yeah, it's an
No,
interesting
it does
point.
not. We can only assume. Well, we hear in the Last Jedi, Hugs starts with an H, or Hugs with an H. So you know, we uh, we know that they do at least call the letters the same name.
But does Jehovah begin with an I? Sorry.
No, no, that was good. That was
Thank
good.
you. Thank
I
you.
also when all is lost and they're going down and you know the good guys have won and John is accepting his fate, he's like he is full on Cutler Becketing it, except he's not dying.
You needed the gold exploding around and flying like shrapnel through the air.
What the fuck was that moment between him and Wim where like they're in the elevator and he's like John.
I think it was meant to be the kind of Jim Hawkins, John Silver moment, but this show did not earn that in the
Didn't
slightest.
yeah no
Yeah, because they were trying so hard to do that. That he's the scoundrel, he's the pirate with a heart of gold, and he actually
he
respects
didn't
the
have a
kid for
heart of
being a
gold.
hero.
I mean, he had like a not utterly reprehensible moral compass.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
wouldn't kill kids. He clearly didn't want to kill kids, but he was okay with people thinking he was okay with killing kids.
The thing that makes the John Silver and Jim Hawkins thing so compelling is that it's a surrogate father-son relationship, and that's where the heart and soul really is of the
You got to
story of
watch
Treasure
Black
Island.
Sails.
And yeah, Wim has a father, and there's not even a moment where
He's
you
right
could have
there.
yeah, you could have had something like Wim's father's very sort of straight-laced, by the book, you can't do this, and so he's very overprotective of his son, and he won't let his son go out on a speeder bike or whatever. And when he meets Jod, maybe initially Jod kind of takes him under his wing and is a little bit more like, we're going on an adventure, let's do
Or
some
you
cool
know
shit
what?
together.
Swap which parent is dead.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Or cast a chick as the pirate Jedi.
Yeah.
Either way, just like how we've established Wim is missing one of his parental figures.
Mhm.
Let Jod fill that
Fill that.
role.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to go so out of your way to try and do the whole Treasure Island thing, which this is really trying to do, then just fucking go for it. At that point, it's only going to strengthen the story of what you're telling, even if it is completely plagiarized.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
honestly,
yeah.
I want to see. It's weird, but I want to see more plagiarized shit in Star Wars. Like I want to see Ocean's 11 in Star Wars. I want to see.
Well, I mean, the opportunity to do that was Rogue One, and maybe that was the original intention, but it got a little bit
Interesting. You
compromised.
see, I always thought the opportunity to do that was Solo.
Oh, it's a heist. Yeah, I can see that. At least initially,
But
yeah.
give us the Death Star of locks that
Mm.
somebody needs to get through.
Well, let's talk about the characters' journeys on this then, at least of the main kids.
Yeah, they all seem to have a moment this episode, except Fern, whose moment seems to just be the episode.
Yeah, but looking at the series as a whole, I don't feel like I know these characters. I don't really feel like I know what these characters want. I don't
I
feel like they've gone on a
see
huge change since episode 1.
if it weren't for this episode, I wouldn't have known Fern's name. This
Yeah.
episode got me to actually like last week. If you watched the review for the last week's episode, we know all the names except for Fern's.
Hmm.
So I feel like something was accomplished with that.
Well, that was just constant reading every week, and I mean, I forgot KD's name on this review.
Fair enough.
And then you had that episode where they had this really arbitrary we're enemies now, and then 10 minutes later it's just like, oh, we're best friends
Yeah,
for life.
I got to point out there is a reason that I don't like Goblet of Fire.
Is that the one with? No, to me, it's Half Blood Prince has all that tacked on where you love triangle shit and we're enemies and now we're friends and everything.
Oh, you see, no. When it's in a love triangle, that's its own. When the arbitrary, jealousy and enemies comes in via a love triangle, that's a different can of worms. But in Goblet of Fire, a very simple misunderstanding causes them to like Ron is like, you clearly put your name into the Goblet of Fire, and Harry is
Oh,
like, what about the past 3 years
mm-hmm.
has suggested to you that I would do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll wait.
Mm-hmm. KD's journey,
It's just
KD's journey across all 8 episodes. What can we say about KD's character? She's stoic.
She almost died at one point.
And it didn't.
She was a little mad at her friend,
But about a
and
character,
then she wasn't.
you're telling me about
She
things
was
that happen.
for her character. She developed by going from being a little mad at her friend to not being mad at her friend.
See, for me, with the character archetype, because we'll try and outline what her character is within the show, and then how we could improve it if we were rewriting this thing. She is the Spock surrogate in this series. She is the emotionless robot character. Very easy, simple fix. You have them find their humanity. Yeah, you have the Kirk and Spock moment by the end of it. You have her finding
That's how they
friendship and
do it in the J.J.
humanity.
Abrams one.
Oh, I know. That was the best take they got. Fuck it. Fuck J.J. Abrams, man. Fuck him. He fucked Star Trek, and I haven't even
I
seen
will
Star
say
Trek, and he fucked it.
that scene in Star Trek Into Darkness has forever changed how I play Fallout 3. Because at least at one point every playthrough, I'm gonna do that. Because the exact same thing happens to somebody. Their hand is on the glass. I won't spoil it, but
Okay.
it
They
happens.
do the thing.
Like
Yeah.
the radiation is flooding the room, hand on the glass, run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, so that's how I would handle her character. You have her doing something, or someone does something for her which helps her find her humanity, and maybe by the end of it she actually even smiles. Maybe that, and it's like, there is something there. It's not just all binary and digital code and robot statistics and stuff. There's actually something there. Neil, the cowardly
issue with that
yeah.
one is she's not too disconnected from her humanity, like lore wise. She wouldn't be that disconnected from her humanity, because I mean, if you know Lobot's backstory, he was just a guy until what almost happened in that one episode with KB
Mm.
actually happened to him, and then he was just a machine with a dick.
Or you have her always run sort of like C3PO, run the odds of success, facts, figures, numbers, and everything, and then by the end of it, she's forced to make a call that's just right of her own judgment
That
in
would
that
be pretty
moment.
dope. Honestly, that would be pretty cool.
So you could do that. What about Neil, the portly elephantine child?
Yeah, no, this is we needed another scene at the end of this to show he is like hanging out with that cat girl that he likes
Yes,
because
yeah.
he could get like a little confidence boost from the chick who showed him where the cannon was,
Mhm.
and then he uses the cannon, and then the cat chick is like, "Wow, that was really cool that you did that, Neil. Man, you got a cute trunk."
Where's your mouth?
And no, we see it. It's
Oh, we
there.
see
We
his
have
mouth.
seen it.
The difficult thing is with trying to come up with a better story for Neil's character is that he is very, very similar to Wim's character in that, well, the two of them hang out all the
He is
time.
not dissimilar. Yeah,
They're both very cowardly. They both play Jedi. They both Neil's probably more cowardly than Wim, granted, but
yeah. No,
inherently they're
Neil
very
is.
similar.
Yeah. Neil is like the bitchier one.
So, in my mind, like just verbalizing this out now, it seems like the character journey is going to be very much the same. You needed Neil to just have that hero moment where he stands up for himself, or is a bit more. He's not going to be pushed around all the time. Who he finds his inner
What if when?
confidence.
What if he didn't run out of the gun turret and instead kept shooting and
That's
ended up
something.
hitting the gun turret that like he ended up hitting their turret, which
Mhm.
saves him and knocks down the pirates.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
it
something.
doesn't knock down the pirates, but it saves people on the ground because the gun that they have pointed at the ground is now destroyed.
Yeah, yeah. He takes a leadership role, maybe, or he
Not
helps.
leadership, but
Yeah,
he gets a moment.
yeah. And then Wim, they kind of do something. He holds the lightsaber in this, but
The right way up.
the
It's
right
pointed
way
at
up.
the ceiling.
So
Good
it's
job,
all
Wim.
it's almost there, but I don't think they stick the landing with it. I think he needed to do something. He needed like the Anakin Skywalker blowing up the droid command ship thing. I feel.
What if he threw the lightsaber at the switch and it like basically everybody's running at this switch. And I was like, just throw something at it.
Yeah.
That could. You're holding a walkie-talkie. You're holding a lightsaber.
Well, you needed. I'm trying to think in. See, my reference for this is Muppets Treasure Island, and I don't know if this actually happens in the book, but there's a bit where Jim Hawkins at the end of that movie tells Silver to get into one of the longboats, and well, he catches John Silver sailing away, and he goes, "Oh, you're not going to rat me out, are you, Jim?" And he like holds a whistle to sort of blow to summon everyone there. So maybe he holds the lightsaber at Jod or something. Like Jod's on the floor beaten, and he holds the lightsaber at him.
I thought he was going to kill himself by accident in this episode. I just remembered that.
Who, Jod or?
Yeah, when he's pulling the saber and the kids are holding on to it and like struggling against it, uh, because he's not a full-fledged cash money Jedi.
Mhm.
Uh, I thought they were gonna like basically he was gonna like win in the struggle, but Wim's hand was gonna hit the button.
Mhm.
And so it was. Have you seen Ryan versus Dorkman?
No, no.
God damn it. Well, the end of that,
Well,
spoiler.
you could have done something with that, yeah. If he'd have accidentally, I don't know if I would how I would have felt about that. Like, oh, you're gonna kill Jod off that way. But if it was some like weird fucked up accident that happened, and everyone else leaves, and then if you had have built that father and son dynamic with him.
And it would
You
have
have
been
that
Wim who
moment,
did it.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, and he's like, "I'm proud of you, Wim," or something like that, or something. I don't know, but you could have had that heart to heart moment at the very end there, and then I think that would have helped instill that yeah, Jod's a bad guy, but it stems from that relationship. It really does. That sort of morally grey. Well, yeah,
If he
he
had
is a
like
villain,
used the
but
Force to pull Wim in, and Wim accidentally hits the button, and then he like Han Solo's it. He literally like it would be the same
mhm,
angle. It would literally be the Han Solo Kylo Ren moment,
mhm,
but have him just be like, I didn't want to hurt anyone,
mhm.
and then he falls dead, and everyone's like, that you did the right thing, Wim. But Wim is like, traumatized because he's a
Yeah.
child who just killed a man.
Mhm.
Never mind, he shot at the police a couple episodes ago. Good for him.
And then maybe he like he could either keep the lightsaber, but at that point he would probably throw the lightsaber away, maybe. And maybe the building blows up along with all of its riches and the lightsaber together, and it's like, oh, Jod's lightsaber is with the gold
Yeah,
and
they
it's
really should have
destroyed.
destroyed that.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, they're now part of the New Republic, which means the New Republic's gonna get all that money.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like things are gonna start looking up for them in that respect because they're gonna get all that unless Thrawn gets that money, maybe. That would be interesting if it's in Heir to the Empire. The New Republic is collecting this big shipment of money in an enormous Mon Calamari freighter that's protected by this convoy of ships, and Thrawn needs to defeat that. Sure, do that. That would be pretty cool, actually.
Well, I think someone did
It'd
put in
be
a
not
comment that
honestly, conceptually, it's not too dissimilar from the Battle of Sluis Van.
well, I think someone put in a comment that what if this gold somehow finds itself into the hands of the First Order and a certain
I saw
Supreme
that
Leader
last week.
Snoke?
Yeah,
I'm like, no,
woven into the robes of Supreme Leader
yeah, that's
Snoke.
what I was thinking. I was like, no, don't do that.
To let
Especially
you know how big
considering
his dick is.
apparently Ilum or whatever was being hollowed out during A New Hope or something. And I'm like,
Oh yeah,
no, no.
of course it was.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
no, no,
No, it
no.
wasn't.
It wasn't being quote unquote hollowed out. It was being mined to shit.
Oh, I
Like,
thought when did they put the fucking space laser in?
oh, well, the space laser probably wouldn't have been installed until sometime between Jedi and A New Hope.
The
Like,
the
I assume it was just like a big mining operation to get all that kyber for the Death Star.
the space laser where J.J. Abrams doesn't understand space, and this is meant to be a hyperspace laser, yet Kylo Ren can literally look out of a window and see it moving very, very slowly, the beam. Yet this beam's meant to travel at the speed of light to get across hyperspace and galaxies and
That's
whatnot.
not what hyperspace means.
But that laser is shot to a different galaxy.
It should no. That laser should be going much faster than
You
Kylo is seeing
shouldn't
it.
see it,
But
yes.
he should be basically he should see the laser in front of him, and then it should stop.
Well, it should just be in its speed of light. Speed of light
Like,
shit.
yeah, no, speed of light, as in he should see a constant stream, like it's a laser,
Yes.
but then it should like stop dead in its tracks because it's entering hyperspace,
Yeah. But
or
JJ
or
Abrams
not
doesn't
dead in its
understand how
tracks, but
space.
like
Yeah.
into like a portal or something, a rift.
I don't really have many notes for the ending. Jod's ship is destroyed because he's a fucking idiot. The X-wings save the day. Jod's potentially still alive, although we don't see him. We just see him looking out the window, and he's kind of got a smirk on his face. And then the X-wings fly away, and Wim watches them fly away, and that's the end of Skeleton Crew. There's just not a
Yeah,
whole
it
lot
is.
else
Like
to
this
add.
show really. So I had a theory last week, and I was worried that it was going to be correct, and then the show just ended, and I was like, honestly, that it would have been better if you used that, because
What was
remember,
your ending?
because So when the battle is winding down, and everything's like all good, and uh, a Corellian blockade runner starts landing towards starts landing on that attic, and I'm like, you know what? It's nighttime. There's low light. It's a low lighting environment. If that ship was going to land and CGI Carrie Fisher was going to walk out of it, this would be the ideal environment.
I'm glad they didn't do that, but also it just ends so abruptly. And as I say, like what was this
Yeah,
story?
it could
What
have
was
been
this story?
somebody else, but I was worried it was going to be Leia.
Mhm. But
But
what was
like
this?
the thing is, it should have been literally anyone. Is kind of what I'm getting at here.
I'm glad we didn't do that. I'm really glad we didn't do that. I don't think it needed that. But what it needed to do was to pay off all of the intrigue that it had set up within its story, and ultimately this whole ending was just a big elaborate
Not
shooty shoot
as
pew pew.
much as you're probably thinking. Like, I agree we needed more than we got, but I don't think we should have gotten everything.
The supervisor, nothing was explained about the supervisor or the state that people
No,
were
no,
living in
no.
this weird.
Yeah, no, no. The religiousness around the
Yeah,
great work is
the,
what wasn't explained.
the great work, the
Like, you don't
supervisor,
need
the
to, you don't
captain.
need to, you don't need them to explain why the supervisor is a droid. It makes perfect sense why the supervisor is a droid. The same reason why everybody else who's like working directly for the Republic and not for Atten is a droid.
Yeah, it's like you big up the mystery of the supervisor, and it's nothing, and it means nothing, and it's just a complete rip-off of
It's a
HAL
droid.
9000.
Oh, by the
Um,
way, speaking of that, he says, I did watch it. What do you mean, though? The supervisor droid being a sort of HAL 9000 ish?
yeah,
Yes,
yes,
Hal.
exactly that.
Yes, I messaged Hal. Hey, did you watch the finale of Skeleton Crew? You're in it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah.
He's
Everything
like,
to
I
do
don't
with
know
the
what you're talking about.
supervisor, the mystery of the planet, why it was shrouded, what the ramifications of it being known to the galaxy are now.
Oh, no, no, no.
The
Why it was shrouded, I'm pretty sure is explained enough. It's because it's where they make the money.
oh, okay. But then there was a bunch of other planets that got shrouded. Do they also make money?
I'm pretty sure, but because Atten is described as the last Republic mint.
Jesus, you only need the fucking one. Christ.
Yeah, for fuck's sake, they're gonna destroy the economy.
They have. The New Republic show up, and it's like, okay, but the actual characters within the show, I thought Jod was a fucking idiot. I thought he had all the hallmarks. Jude Law brings it with a performance, and I do think his performance is easily the best one in the show by a country mile. Very intriguing character, but they don't pay off any of the intrigue, and he ultimately just boils down to, as you mentioned, the Clone Wars Series 1, Series 2 villain, Saturday morning cartoon villain,
Yeah.
completely incompetent and just not really intimidating or
Oh,
threatening at any point.
Grievous.
Grievous, yeah, not Grievous in the Cartoon Network Clone Wars series.
Yeah, no, no,
Grievous
not
in
in the
episode
in the
3,
in the
and
2D.
yeah, no, he was like the
Yeah,
fucking Terminator in that. He was cool.
yeah, no, that's pretty
Um,
badass.
yeah, so it's just a whole hunk of nothing. And you know what? This series better than Acolyte? Yes, yes, it is by a country mile. It is, but also it's not really doing Star Wars any favors. I've seen some people argue that, well, the show's not meant to be amazing, is it? It's made for kids, and I fucking hate that response. What kind of critique is
What
that?
do you mean
It's
it's not meant to be amazing? It's for kids. Like,
yeah, you can have like that shouldn't be an
you can have
excuse.
an amazing show for kids. Like,
Yes.
Clone Wars happened, which it had its ups and downs. It had its downs. Let's never like there are way more not great episodes of the Clone Wars than there are great episodes of the Clone Wars. But that doesn't detract from how great those episodes are.
Shrek is made for kids. Shrek 2 is made for kids. They're fucking amazing. Kung Fu Panda is made for kids. And it's the writing's amazing and the characterization and the emotion, just everything about it. You can have the Iron Giant is made for kids. Fucking all the old
Ooh,
school Pixar films
I
are.
got one. I got one. Star Wars.
Yeah, well, kids can enjoy it, definitely.
1977 Star Wars. Like, I'm saying Star Wars.
Mhm.
Like the original Star Wars, not Empire Strikes Back.
I'd say that well, yeah, kids definitely, of course. I mean, Christ alive, we did, but I feel like that's more family. I feel, like teenagers, especially with like Luke and wanting to leave home and
It's a
whatnot.
show
Like
for
it's
12-year-olds. It's a
yeah,
series for 12-year-olds. You're
yeah,
forgetting it's a show for 12-year-olds.
yeah. It's kids bordering on teenage. I think they probably connect with Luke more. That whole being dissatisfied with home and wanting to go on and break away from home and whatnot. That doesn't really go through your mind when you're 6 years old watching Star Wars. You're going, "Oh my god, lightsabers, spaceships, aliens, cool planets, cool looking characters."
Long live the banks.
HLB
You weren't
says
thinking that when you were watching?
no. You're telling me that there's not a cheap member berry then? Yeah, I'm grateful for that. You're
No, no,
saying
no,
you
no, no.
wanted a cheap
We're
member
telling
berry.
you there's not an expensive member berry at the end because CGI Luke and Leia would be fucking expensive. Let's be honest.
It's just, did this show even have potential to begin with? I was a
Yeah,
kind of I was kind of
maybe if you
against
like this kind of thing.
the premise from the off because it was quite clear that this was just trying to just to do Stranger Things again, was just to ape off the success of that. You have the keys to the kingdom to do anything Star Wars related. Skeleton Crew ain't gonna do you any favors of getting you back on the map or in the fans' good books. It at best, it is a totally inoffensive, the lowest form of average show there is. There's no character there. There's not really any sense of thrill or adventure I found in this. I don't feel like I know the characters any better, and any vaguely interesting world building stuff that they do, just they don't stick the landing with it. They don't even address it half the time. They raise all these interesting questions, and ultimately the payoff is just a run of the mill watching X-wings shoot at a big spaceship again.
Half the
And
time?
hmm?
I don't know. Is it half the time?
You mean half the time?
Well, you said like they don't pay it off. Like they're setting up this world building and they don't pay it off half the time. I'm wondering, like, is it really half the time? How much did we get versus how much is just set up?
Well, I mean, there's like Jod's backstory, which we do get an answer for, but it's like, wow, was that as really thrilling as what it potentially could have been? Sort of like offhanded, thrown
Oh
away in a
yeah, no,
sentence.
that's
Is that enough?
I wasn't expecting much from that. Either he was a Jedi before or after the purge. Like there wasn't going to be a lot there. Like
Yeah.
we know the most important stuff that happened to him happened after the Jedi were destroyed.
And I think fans are
And
just
either way, that's what happened.
And I think the majority of fans have just tuned out at this point. I think so much damage has been done to the brand of Star Wars that people just aren't lining up for this now. I mean, the viewing figures speak for themselves. I think Acolyte was completely damning, but I think the damage was already done before then. Acolyte proves that you can
Yeah,
have a very well written show, but even Andor ain't going to drag the people in. It's they're not picking the projects right, and when they are picking projects, they're just canceling them straight away. We're apparently meant to have what's his name, James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi movie that's meant to be.
HLB, do you want to tell him or should I?
um
You just called Acolyte a well written show.
I said Andor, didn't I?
No, you didn't.
Oh, did I say
You said
no?
Acolyte.
Oh no, sorry, I meant Andor. I thought I said
No,
Andor.
no,
My
it's
bad.
too late. You said Acolyte. Your
I'm fucking
feelings are
tired.
revealed.
I meant Andor.
The show was pretty good.
Andor's
Yeah,
a well
no, it was
written
all
show,
right.
well
I mean,
directed, but
I
it's not
didn't
bringing people in.
love it like you clearly do, but Acolyte was okay.
I think it's
It didn't really do anything interesting with like the camera work. The
Oh.
cinematography was kind of bland. It was a little flat.
I
But
think
yeah,
we
no, Acolyte
I
was
think we need
it
to
was all
watch it
right.
again. I think we need to watch it again before season 2 rolls out, maybe to give it another
I'm
shot.
talking about Acolyte, Chris.
Oh, Acolyte.
That show you love.
You say it was shot? Hang on, hang on. What did I hear? Acolyte was okay. I fucked up. I meant
Yeah, it was all
Andor.
right.
Oh, yeah. No, you heard. Yeah, JX said, "quote It's above average Star Wars."
Yeah, when you take in the whole series, include Clone Wars in that, yeah, it's about it's better than like about 2/3 of Clone Wars.
I would say Acolyte is
Like
probably
it never hits Clone Wars at its peak, but it also never hits Clone Wars at its worst.
the power of many. He said it. He said it, not me. You
Fire. I was born of this.
molded by it. Yeah, you did. You did. That was a direct
Oh no,
quote.
that wasn't a Dark Knight reference. That was a Constantine reference, actually.
I can't remember which Acolyte episode it was. It may have been the piece of shit flashback episode with the power of many and the random chick who goes in the background. It might have been that episode, but there was one
I don't
episode where
remember
you
what
said
you're
this.
talking about there, but that's really funny.
No,
I
you
can
don't have
see it in my mind's
it,
eye.
it's the random witch chick in the background who just goes like, she's doing all crazy witchy shit. It's funny. She's the only one in the crowd who does it. Oh boy, yeah. I'd say Acolyte is
That one
probably
extra who's just way too happy to be here.
yeah,
There's always one.
yeah.
Even the Urukai.
I mean, I'm
You are
ranking.
killers. You are monsters created from nothing to destroy and dismember and tear limb from limb. Everything. It's like, Richard, shut up.
It's like Richard. We shot the movie. It's releasing tomorrow. We're at the premiere. He's still giving his
This
speech.
is a triumphant return to form of various types of allegatory pieces of media in the visual medium of art, of motion pictures. Shut the fuck up.
It's actually a very easy impression to do because you're improving, you're coming up with this shit on the fly, and you're searching for that next word. But it's still he's searching for that next word. It's perfect. The pause is
Oh,
help.
Richard,
The pause is
Richard,
just example. Yeah.
fuck you, Rick Berman.
What is it
Wait a
with
minute.
Rex?
That wasn't Rick Berman. What is it with Rick's?
HLB says, ask him about the fourth Matrix movie. But that will be the third strike date. Well, do you want to talk about
Oh well,
Matrix Revelations?
the fourth Matrix movie. I respect what it's doing because it's it's. I mean,
Subversive.
I respect it to the point where I'm going to do what the creator clearly wants me to do and not give it my money.
Oh, so it's Joker
Like
2.
it's like it's yeah, exactly. It's like Joker 2.
That's a great
It's
movie.
this. It's clearly the director saying I didn't want to make this movie.
So by extension, you're actually probably going to like unironically love Joker 2, Joker Folie à Deux. You will probably love that
No,
movie.
no. Like I said, I clearly the director didn't want to make it, and so I'm not going to. Uh,
Oh no, don't
I'm
do
not
that.
going to watch it.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the movie because clearly, if the director doesn't want it, then why should I?
Yeah, when you have a director who's hate filled and just wants to tear something down and tear all of its characters
Yeah,
down. Yeah, it's a shitty
not like The
feeling
Last
as a
Jedi,
fan,
which
isn't
is
it?
a complete celebration of Star Wars as a
Oh,
concept, and even
feels so
to the point where
celebrated.
like acknowledges its low points and says, despite that, this is still one of the greatest series that ever was created.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna win, not by fighting what we hate, saving what we love. Boom, and the comedic
Chris,
timing as
are
the
you at?
fucking door is blown up.
Can I ask you something about that? Do you not see any value in that lesson at all? Because you know these movies are
her
anti-war,
sister
right?
died fighting what she believed in, though,
No, no,
right?
no, 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 Chris. I really want to add, like, no, no, no. Take it out of the context. Just literally take. We need to prioritize saving what we love over fighting what we hate.
Yeah,
Let's leave the delivery of that message out.
let's
That's
not
a good
blow up the
message.
dreadnought. Let's not blow up the dreadnought. When we should stop
Chris, you're
fight.
no, no,
Let's
no,
stop
Chris,
fighting what we
you're
hate.
missing the point. You need to put, like, if you prioritize fighting what you hate over saving what you love, there's not going to be anything left.
Yeah, and there wouldn't have been anything left because they fucking cracked that door open like an egg. The comedic timing of that moment, that is
Chris,
the
Chris,
that is the single
you're
worst
going
moment of
back to
Star Wars.
the delivery. We're talking about the actual message itself, because I think that episode 9 could have leaned on the whole not fighting what we love, not fighting what we hate, but saving what we love for Poe. Because I think if Poe prioritized
In a
fighting
movie
what we
called
hate,
Star
Finn was
Wars,
like, no, 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 this isn't about destroying the First Order. This is about saving the galaxy. And there's
by
some
destroying the
considerable
First Order,
overlap there. No, 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 there is
they're
some
blowing up
considerable overlap.
planets.
Chris, there is considerable overlap there. But when you actually prioritize the destruction of the Order over saving the galaxy, you're going to hurt a lot
You
more
save,
people who are
you
not
save,
involved.
you save the galaxy by taking out the faction that's blowing up actual solar
But
systems.
you don't kill civilians while you do it. That's what I'm saying. Like, Poe should have been
Was that ever a point of
bloodthirsty in episode
contention?
9.
What civilians were they killing? What civilians were the Resistance
No,
killing?
no, no, Chris. I'm saying they should have leaned into this for episode 9, because Poe should have been relentless after his arc in episode 8. He should have been relentless against the First Order. He should have been doing suicide bombings, holdo maneuvers. He should have been going like the whole. He should have been going Rambo on their asses. And Finn was like, "You are making people afraid of us. We are becoming the bad guys. You need to stop. This isn't about destroying the First Order. This is about saving the galaxy, and you're prioritizing the wrong thing." No, Chris, the fact that you think that those
You
two
said
are
that
one and
Poe's.
like,
Are
no,
you
no, no,
saying that
Chris,
Poe's not
there's
in the fight?
major overlap. No, 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 I don't like episode 8, episode 9.
I'm
It's
surprised because
um
it's about it's on par with
there's
the other two, but
major overlap between fighting what we hate and fighting what we hate and saving what we love. But the fact is, there is a difference, and the fact that you can't see a difference means you need a character arc, Chris.
so
You are not developed.
we shouldn't fight back
You
again.
need to grow. You need to find a little Asian mechanic.
This is what I have to put up with on a daily basis. Yeah, I'll tell you
You
what.
need to find a
We'll get
little Asian
no, dude,
mechanic
dude,
to
dude, dude,
stun
dude,
you with
dude,
to
dude,
hit you with
dude,
the
dude, dude, dude,
taser,
dude.
make your teeth numb or something.
Dude, I tell you what, we'll get right on saving the civilians right after we take out that faction that's literally blowing up all of said civilians. How about that? Does that sound good to you? We'll focus on fixing the
Didn't
galaxy
they
once we
stop
take.
them from Chris? Chris, you're missing the point entirely, and you're intentionally doing that. Like, I'm
There ain't
trying to say, like,
mate. There
listen,
ain't going to be any
literally look at
civilians.
these two things individually. Stop tying these two together and look at them as individual problems, because I admit there's overlap. And then your response is, but when you look at them together, then it doesn't make. And I was like, okay, so when you
How
don't
did
do the
Rose know
thing
that
that
she
makes it
wouldn't
make
kill
sense, it
Finn?
doesn't make sense.
How did Rose?
Congratulations, Chris.
How did Rose not know she was going to kill Finn? She fucking T-bones the shit
Oh,
out of him.
because she touches because she has that amulet or the she trusts in the religion thing that your sister has.
We're done. Right. Okay. Right. That was Skeleton Crew.
Rogue One, no.
Let
Rogue
us know
One just
your
came out.
thoughts on
Plot armor.
Skeleton
No, no,
Crew.
no, no, Chris.
Did you like
Chris,
it? No,
plot
we're
armor
ending.
is
I'm ending. I'm ending. We're
plot
coming up
armor
to
is
2 hours.
canon.
We're coming up
Plot
to
armor
2
is
hours.
canon.
We're done.
That
We're done.
the
Let
movie
us know your
right
thoughts on
before the Last
Skeleton
Jedi.
Crew. What did you think of the series? Is it mid? Did you actually really enjoy it? Do you think this is what Star
Hang
Wars
on.
needs?
No.
Is this Star Wars back on the
You
map?
have said
I'm
some
done.
stupid
We're
fucking
done.
shit.
We're done. JX, where can they find you? What are you working on at the moment?
You literally said that it's established in The Empire Strikes Back that the heaviest thing a Jedi is capable of lifting is an X-wing. I don't want to fucking hear it from you.
JX's channels get moving right there. Give him a subscribe.
You're not going to either. You're subscribed already, or you're not going to subscribe. I don't care.
Maybe we can have a Discord about The Last Jedi, or well, you're working on some Clone Wars stuff at the moment, right? So, a Clone Wars movie coming out.
I mean, you could say that I am, but I'm honestly, I'm sitting with a file that I don't love, but I don't hate. Basically, it's really hard to balance. Like, I'm trying to create something that fits with the prequels, so I need to make it crap, but I can't make it too crap.
I don't understand that logic at all, but we'll see
Have
the
you
results.
seen the prequels?
We'll see the results. And
Like,
yeah,
if you're
I
making
mean,
something that fits alongside episodes 1, 2, and 3, it needs to be a little crap. It's episodes 1, 2, and 3. I mean, it's the
sure.
territory.
Uh,
You understand that other than the first 2 movies that came out in it, Star Wars is mid.
yeah, there's like 3 good movies.
But the first 2 movies that came out are 2 of the best movies that were ever created.
I still really like
But
Return of the Jedi.
then it was, and then the rest was mid. It on average, if you take all the reviews, if you take the people who love it, you take the people who hate it, and you take everybody else, it's there. Star Wars is okay, but then the first 2 were 2 of the best movies ever made.
I think Return of the Jedi's got a second act problem. I still really enjoy it. I think it's a fine watch. It does have a second act problem.
The Return of the Jedi's got a first act, got a first, third, and kind of second act problem.
I really like the first act. I think.
Wait a second. You like the first act is fine. It's just not Return of the Jedi. It's just a different movie. It's the end of a completely different movie, and that movie doesn't even have a fucking beginning.
I think it works as like a cold open, which Revenge of the Sith kind of does anyway, with rescuing the Chancellor.
Too long to be a cold open. It's a fucking It's a whole half hour.
I think it does slow down when they get to Endor, but I think, my God, it sticks the landing. I think the fucking the space battle and everything to do with Luke and Vader
so the
is
space
incredible.
battle is fantastic because the space battle was the one thing where it was only going to be an improvement.
Not necessarily.
No, necessarily, because as far as technical achievement, like
okay, so by that extension, the Battle of Exegol
by expect no.
Okay, so by that, by what you're saying, then
the space battle is held up by no, Chris, not by that.
You said technical advancements.
Fucking listen to what I'm saying.
You said technical advancements.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but those technical what technical advancements are in Exegol?
No,
it's CGI.
Your point is that you said the space battle was always going to be good because of the technical advancements. I'm saying no, it depends on the writing, how you storyboard it all out, that it makes sense to the fucking plot.
Not for that space. That space battle is nothing. Like, let's be honest, that space battle is nothing.
Okay, but by your own words, what you just said, that it was always going to be better because of the technical advancements. I'm saying no, a lot more needs to go into it than just it looking flash, because by that, the Battle of Exegol, being the most recent Star Wars film and having a space battle, would be the best space battle, and it's actually one of the worst. Why? Because nothing
you're saying that like each space battle gets a technical advancement, but it doesn't. Now, we're actually talking about the advancement of this is literally just Yavin, but done better. And that's what it if that's what they were doing, they did that very well, and that's all it was ever going to be, because it's just them being like, we can do a lot better stuff with the ships now. Like, let's be honest,
so
as far as a premise is concerned, Battle of Endor sucks, but as far as like being a battle, it's pretty great.
I'm confused with your argument here, because you're arguing that the technical advancements make it automatically better.
Chris.
You said that the technical advancements make it automatically better, correct?
I said that the technical advancements from specifically to what I was referring to, elaborate on what I said. The technical advancements by ILM, between Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6, yes, the space battle was always going to be better.
Okay.
To the point
So
where it did not
continuing
need.
that then.
But no. You're going to say, continuing that, therefore the most recent Star Wars movie would be better
Because of
this.
technological
No,
advancements between the original trilogy, and the special effects are better objectively in 9.
they're not. They haven't been better since Rogue One. Let's put that. Let's like, and
In your
arguably the
opinion,
best.
but in terms of actual visual effects and how many they can have on screen, and probably lighting capabilities and the actual
Chris,
cold
all
hard
I'm saying
code,
is,
there's probably more they can do.
if you take what you were capable of doing with these special effects in Return of the Jedi versus what you can do with them now, and then you take what you could do with those special effects in the 2 movies before it versus what you can do with them now, it's actually not that much of an improvement. Like, just take, for example, the shot that Mike Stocklosa describes as fucking awesome in the commentary. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, there's just a
HLB
part where they're
says,
watching.
don't get stuck on this technical point, guys. But my argument is a lot more goes into the space battle to make it better than just going beyond the technical, is what I'm saying.
And what I'm saying is,
it's all about the writing first. Exactly. That's my point.
Beyond the technical, the writing for this, it's Yavin. This is just Yavin. This is literally just Yavin, but with better technology behind it.
Yes.
Just as Jabba the Hutt and Jabba's palace, that is Mos Eisley, but with better technology behind it.
I would actually argue
that is really all Return of the Jedi is. It's Mos Eisley, but bigger and better, followed by Yavin, but bigger and better, with teddy bears, because those sell toys.
I mean, I would argue that the end of A New Hope is a lot more personal and feels a lot more climactic, and in that moment, I do really much enjoy the space battle in Episode 6.
Wait, in what way would you say it's particularly?
Because we are literally doing it over again, aren't we? In Episode 6,
well,
it looks flashier.
No. You're supporting my point there, but I'm saying, like, what about Yavin is particularly personal is really what I was asking.
Well, you've got Luke directly in the action, and he's coming to use the Force, and it ties everything up with that, and hearing Obi-Wan, and you have Han's epic moment of his redemption in that moment too, and it's nail biting.
Yeah, no, I would say that the actual destruction of the Death Star is done a lot better as a moment in Return of the Jedi, but as far as just the whole space battle is concerned, it wins, and it wins because of its technological superiority, and I'm not going to pretend it's anything else.
Whereas I'm going with what HLB says, it's all about the writing. I think can't both work.
What writing? Honestly, what is actually happening in the Battle of Endor that is particularly compelling in the space battle part?
They're walking into a trap that it's used as leverage so that Emperor Palpatine can try and coax Luke to the dark side. That all of the rebels might be obliterated.
Sorry, what did you just say? Oh, it's almost like that part is It's almost like that part is intrinsically tied into an entirely different subplot. I'm sorry. Go on.
They're all connected. The writing of that space battle is not in a vacuum in the film as an action set piece.
I'm just saying
it ties to everything.
I'm just saying everything that makes that everything about specifically that space battle that makes it good. That everything that is exclusively that space battle that makes it good. It's a technical achievement.
I disagree. I think it's a soundtrack thing. I think it's a writing thing.
Yeah, and you also think that Spider-Man 2 doesn't throw away the point that it's making.
Stay on target. Stay on target.
No, I just wanted to bring it back to Spider-Man 2 because
we can't go on.
I thought that was a really funny conversation we had.
I need to be up for work in 7 hours, and I need to do some guitar practice too tonight. That's a funny story, isn't it?
So do I.
I mean,
you understand? You and I start work around the same time. There's just a 5-hour time difference.
Mm-hmm. HLB says, "Dude, you can't hate on the Return of the Jedi after
I
living the fucking
absolutely can.
abomination that is the Last Jedi." I mean, I
That
agree
I
with that,
can,
but
because the thing I really love about The Last Jedi, the thing that makes it peak above all else, is its ability to improve on what came before it. Because the prequels, The Force Awakens, The Return of the Jedi, all of them are better because of points that The Last Jedi makes in its favor.
I'm
It's
just wait.
honestly, it's masterful.
I'm just waiting one day where after about 3 decades, or maybe even when I'm on my deathbed,
Chris, it's
because I'm
okay. It's
because I'm
okay
going
that you
before
don't
you,
understand the movie.
and I need you to say, all these years that we've been arguing about the Last Jedi. Yeah, I was
It's
just
not going to
pulling you.
happen,
Yeah, I
Chris.
was just pulling your leg. I
It's
can't
a
fucking
mas-
stand it.
it's a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece, and I pity you that you can't see it. It's amazing. It's the one of the greatest movies ever made, and I'm so sorry you can't see it, Chris. I really am. I actually am. I pity you.
Oh
I got
boy,
nothing else to say. It's a
there's
fantastic
the
film.
history the
It's a
history of Star Wars,
masterpiece.
ladies and
It is
gentlemen.
a masterpiece.
I don't know how
And
any
I'm sorry you can't see
self-respecting
that,
Star
Chris.
Wars
I
fan
really am.
can have that
You
thought.
too, but
Yeah.
HLB Comer.
This is just crazy talk
Sorry,
now. I
buddy.
know. Let's wrap this. We're getting delirious at the end here. Please
Sorry,
consider
guys.
subscribing to the channel for more movie reviews, discussions, and live streams. This does it for Star Wars until the month of April, where we're actually, fingers crossed, hopefully getting a well-written and compelling Star Wars series in the form of Andor Season 2. Is it the greatest thing to ever happen to Star Wars? Writing and directing, maybe that's an argument there. I will go back and watch Andor Series 1, and maybe around March or just right before Season 2 comes out. I mean, if you do the same as well, we might do sort of like a recap, because we were watching it weekly when it came out. I haven't gone back and given it a second watch, and I'd really like to do so. And also, I'm probably going to have to refresh myself anyway before going into Season 2, which is going to be the second and final season of Andor. So I hope it's not too compromised. We'll see how it is. I don't think it's going to put Star Wars on the map. I don't think anything ever will again, to be honest. I don't think we can ever truly course correct. I think it's I think it's a dead brand at this point. But we're still here, and we will continue to do reviews on most of the Star Wars stuff that's worth talking about. So until then, I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's watched all the way through and kept the conversation going. We really appreciate you guys. My God, I've seen the cards. Yeah, we'll be back for Andor Series 2, I guess. I'm going to be live again on Monday with Dale. We're actually nearing the end of our Disney retrospective now. So next week, we're covering Wish, a film that both me and Dale haven't seen. And we've got some ideas for some other retrospectives and other videos throughout the rest of the year. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everyone.